Hi everyone, my name is Jonine and I am a student and clinical nutrition intern here at MUIH. And I'm doing a demonstration today for healthy moms. Healthy moms, but healthy meal prep for busy moms. And so these are my participants, Miss Janae, her son Josiah, who's going to be my assistant today, and Tiffany Smith. Thanks, you guys can be seated. And so we're going to start out, we're going to make meal prep. We're going to do a cooking style, I guess, that's called meal prepping. So it's basically batch cooking. So a lot of moms that I talk to, one of the things that they say prevents them from eating healthy meals is because they just don't have time. So JoJo and I are going to make a dinner that you could eat. We're going to make 8 servings, so you can batch cook it and freeze it if you wanted to, and it's all considered super duper healthy. And as we go through and talk about the ingredients, I'll tell you why. All right, so first thing we have is, I'm gonna hold this up, ground turkey. So kind of tilt it a little bit so you can see. So it's 93% lean ground turkey. So this is packed with protein. It does give you some fat as well. You put that down. We have some sweet potatoes. No, that is kind of heavy. Tilt it just a little bit. Sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are really good for you. They are considered a carbohydrate, but they have lots of good fiber, vitamin A, and lots of other vitamins and minerals for you. Perfect. We got some cinnamon that we're going to put on the sweet potatoes. Cinnamon is really good for flavor, but a lot of people don't know this, but cinnamon can actually regulate your blood glucose. So if you have issues with diabetes or insulin regulation, metabolic syndrome, it can help with that. Thank you. You don't have to tilt this one. This is olive oil. This is also another type of fat, but this is considered a very healthy fat. It has omega-3s and omega-6s, which are really healing. We got some onions here. JoJo said he needed a break from the onion smell. They are pretty strong. And then we have some, put that down for me. We have some organic beef broth. Organic beef, it says organic chicken broth. And so organic chicken broth is, they're gonna be for flavor for our, one of our dishes. And the reason why I choose organic bone broth, organic chicken bone broth, is because the bone broth is really healing as well. If you have issues such as irritable bowel disease, if you have some autoimmune issues, then it could be really healing for your intestinal tract. So that's really good for you. And we have kale here, so we got some nice green vegetables that are packed with vitamins and minerals. Okay, so let's get this party started. I'm gonna start off with the sweet potatoes. Ready?
Okay.
So, we're going to use this large dish, and we're going to take some oil here. So JoJo's going to pour about half of that, not all of it, but about half of it in the dish. And I brought JoJo here because a lot of my moms that are super busy say that, oh, I don't have time. If you got a kid, you got to help her. So, and do you like to cook? You like helping?
Yes.
Yeah, they want to help, so let them. I think that's good. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so you're going to take that pan, pick it up, and swirl the oil around to get it all coated. That's good. All right, so you're going to take the sweet potatoes, and you're just going to dump them in there.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. So I bought my, just a little trick of the trade. I didn't cut all these sweet potatoes. I bought them already pre-cut. So, I mean, I spent a little bit extra for it, but the time that it gives me or saves me, I think is worth it. So, you can get your sweet potatoes whole and then dice them yourself, or I got these organic, already diced sweet potatoes from Wegmans. So you can do that too. All right, so I'm gonna take this cinnamon, and we're just gonna like sprinkle it around the top of all the sweet potatoes. So we're gonna use all of that cinnamon. ahead and take this spatula and just kind of mix it up so that all the sweet potatoes get a little bit of cinnamon on it. While JoJo's doing that, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of sea salt and keep stirring. Not a lot, but just to give it a little bit of flavor. And so I'm using Himalayan pink sea salt. It gives it flavor because it's obviously salt, but it is sea salt, which means that you get a little bit more minerals in your salt. So not just salt. So let's try to move, yeah, some of that way, yep. This actually, maybe a spoon would be better. So you try to scoop some of this going that way, and then move some of that back that way. So you get some cinnamon. Is this instead, is that working for you?
It's working.
Perfect. Alright, I think that looks good, JoJo. What do you think?
Hmm?
Think that looks good?
It
Mix
looks like
up?
a sweet potato cinnamon.
Yeah. I think it looks good. Alright. So, you're gonna put on oven mitts. They're like half, they don't cover half of your hand, just the part that you're gonna grab. Okay, and grab the handles. We're gonna stick these in the oven for about 30 minutes. So then put it on the bottom rack. Be careful.
Okay.
Yep, right there. Careful, careful. Not seeing you close the door. Alright, good job. So while that's cooking, what we're gonna work on next are the turkey meatballs. So I'm gonna grab another container here, or dish here. You can use a cookie sheet if you want your turkey meatballs crispier on the bottom. If you want them to be more soft, you can use a baking dish like this. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take half of the onions for the recipe, and we're gonna mix them with the turkey. So you wanna take this spoon, actually we're gonna rinse it because it has spoon. Take that spoon and just spoon out about half of the onions, maybe a little bit less than half. Just spoon it right on into the bowl. While he's doing that, I'm going to add some seasoning. So the recipe says salt and pepper to taste, so I'm going to add some of that. But also, I have some special seasonings here. They're made by a company called Flavor God. And so one is for, it says garlic lovers, it's really good. Make sure meats especially taste good. And this one is everything. So it's basically called everything because you can use it in everything. So I'm going to sprinkle some of this seasoning in as well. That's the garlic one. I like garlic. So I'm usually pretty generous with the garlic stuff. Okay. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stir it and mix it up real good. So JoJo, can you take this oil? And we're going to do the same thing we did with the sweet potatoes. We're going to pour the oil, maybe about half of it, into the bottom of the pan, and then make sure the pan is really well coated.
That's good.
Yep, that's good. Alright, so now we gotta get our hands messy. You ready? So what we gotta do is we got to roll these, we gotta roll these into meatballs.
Or we can just.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna take a measuring spoon because we want them to be about 1 ounce a piece. So I'm gonna take a measuring cup rather and measure it, and I'm gonna put it in your hand. You're gonna like roll it into a meatball and then stick it in the pan. Ready? Don't worry, we'll get that later. So I noticed that sometimes kids seem to like meatballs better than just eating meat, like just regular meat. What do you think? Do you prefer meatballs or do you prefer just like a steak or something? Meatballs, yeah. They're fun. They come in shapes. I don't know. Maybe that's the appeal. So by the time we get finished with this, and it's good that I have my assistant here, otherwise it would take me all day. You know? No, it wouldn't, but it helps on time. So by the time we get done here, we should have about 16 meatballs.
You have 7.
Yep.
8.
8,
9.
9.
10. 11.
Yep.
16. 13.
Actually, no, we'll have more than 16 now I think about it, because we took the recipe and we times it times 8. So we should have 30. I don't know, we should have more than, a lot more than 16. How many do we have?
9, 10.
Should have 16 times 2, I think.
15. You have 15.
Okay.
16.
Looks like we might need another pan, huh?
17.
Got it.
18.
Grab another pan. Hey, Tiff, can you grab this pan for me? Put my turkey fingers on it. The one right at the bottom. Actually, that white one might be better. This one? Yep. So we can probably fit 2 more in that one, and then we're gonna start in another bowl. So actually, we should have 32 meatballs. It looks like we're gonna have less than that,
296.
which is fine. We can just have bigger meatballs and less in a container. So I was preparing for maybe 4 per container if it's going to be 8 servings. How many we got?
19.
19. What about that one?
This is 19.
Okay, so 21 altogether. Okay, that works.
And then this is 21.
Yep.
I think, no, actually, that could be 20 because this one has no more space. If I go back there,
Stick that one right there.
20, 22. So we got 22 now.
Okay. Oh, that's perfect. That works out. So we can do 8 servings of 3 meatballs. So it works. I like things to be even. And actually, maybe we could take some from over here and put it here. That way, they'll have a little bit more space and not be smushy. Okay, you want to do the last one?
Yeah.
We got 23 right now. We need one more. Excuse me. We need one more, right?
Yes.
Okay. Here you go. Stick that on there. Alright, so I'm gonna wash my hands with all the turkey bacteria off. While JoJo finishes up.
And done.
You know, you can come over and wash your turkey bacteria off too.
For now, we're taking a break.
Hey, yeah. But
Forgot the other one.
either one is fine. Alright, so I'm gonna pop these in the oven while you wash your hands, okay?
It burned.
Take a moment to sanitize. Alright, you ready for the last dish?
Yes.
Okay. Last dish, we're gonna do steamed sauteed kale. So, before we started, JoJo asked what is sauteing. So it's basically a cooking method where you use a small amount of fat, which like olive oil is considered a fat, and you cook the food. But with steamed sauteing, you actually use majority liquid, not fat. So in our case, we're going to use our bone broth to steam saute. So we are going to use some of the fat though. So you can go ahead and add the olive oil to our skillet here.
All of it?
We add the rest of it. And we're going to use the onions. So we can get maybe like maybe 3 scoops. All right, and I'm going to add kale here. So this is a bag. Again, just like with the sweet potatoes, I just don't have a whole lot of time. I'm sure like you don't either. And so I buy it already cut, chopped. It's organic. I did rinse it, but other than that, I didn't really have to do any preparation to it. So just a tip to save some time if you're running low like most of us are, okay? And then we're going to pour, can you handle it? It's kind of heavy there. We're gonna pour some bone broth in there. Let's use about half of it.
That's pretty good.
A little more. I think that's perfect. Yeah. So we filled the skillet all the way up with the kale. And then I had JoJo pour in the bone broth until it was about halfway up the skillet. All right, so we're going to actually put the lid on. And I'm going to cook this over medium heat for about 15 minutes. I'm going to take a cleanup break.
See ya.
JoJo was dancing just a second ago. So we took a 5-minute cleanup break to sweep the floor and clean and sanitize the countertop. And we're back. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our actual meal prep packaging. So I have 8 different containers here, and we're going to evenly distribute the food into each container so that we'll have food for the entire week for lunch or dinner, whatever you prefer. All right, so JoJo's going to take the meatballs out of the oven. We're going to start with that first. start with the one on the left first.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Ouch. Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. I just bring it. This.
You can put it right on top of that. Okay. Let me see.
It's okay.
You ready? No.
No.
Okay. All right. You want to get the other one? You can put it on top of this one. You want me to get it? So here's something to prevent burning your arm. So when you go to pull the food out, you want to pull the rack out a little bit, so that way you don't burn your arm up there. Okay. For next time. And we'll put this one on this one. Okay. So Joe, we're going to take a spoon and we're going to put 3 meatballs into each container. Okay?
I'll start off with this one.
Okay, I'll start with this one.
Just put 2 in this container.
3. Careful.
Oh, gee. Just bring my finger.
This last one is going to get an extra bonus meatball.
Yeah.
Perfecto. Okay. So now we're going to add some kale to each one, which has been steam sauteing for about 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, go ahead and run that under cool water. So I'm gonna put it. Jojo tapped the side of one of the dishes with his finger and got a little burn. So we're running under cool water. While he does that, I'm gonna go ahead and put some kale. Oh, while we were taking our cleaning break, I did put a little bit of apple cider vinegar into the kale. It helps kind of break down the toughness a little bit. But in addition, apple cider vinegar is really good for insulin regulation. It adds a little bit of acid, so that can be healing for some people with intestinal health, that type of thing. So another trinket. Good.
Yeah. It's just the same. That's all.
Just a sting. Okay. So I got all the kale in. Actually, I'm not going to put the sweet potatoes in the same container with the kale and the meatballs, just because between the kale and the meatballs, they have some juices in the containers, and the sweet potatoes might get a little bit mushy if we do that. So I'm actually going to package those separately. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put lids on these containers, and then use some different ones. So typically I always advise people to try to stick to glass containers if you have them available. The majority of mine are, but I don't have enough. So I do have some plastic. If you do have to use plastic, you just want to be sure that you don't microwave your food inside of the plastic, as chemicals can seep out of the plastic and into your food. Instead, you want to take your food out of the plastic container before you microwave it, put it on a ceramic plate or something like that, and heat it up that way. So typically freezing is okay, as long as you don't reheat in the plastic. But glass is always best.
And I'm okay. My finger feels better.
I'm glad. And JoJo's mom is a nurse, so she made sure he was okay. Okay, so we're going to get the sweet potatoes out of the oven. They smell good. All right, so we're going to create 8 servings of the sweet potato as well. This is approximately a cup per serving. Oops. Alright. So I think we got it all done. What did you learn today, Josiah?
That cooking is the best, but not burning your hands is not the best.
I agree with that. And also, what I intended for you to learn today is that you can cook a lot of meals, actually. So this is eight meals over 8 days that you could use. We did this in less than 45 minutes. And if you have a child, if you're a busy mom and you have a kid that is school age, I mean, even if I used to teach a class in the summers, and I had pre-K kids making meals and snacks, helping mom with meals and snacks, or helping the adult with meals and snacks. So teach them early, and they can start helping you and learn what healthy cooking is all about. So thanks for watching.
And everybody that was watching, please stand up and say goodbye.
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 Thanks, Janae. Thanks, Tiffany.
Have a night.